Everyone, common denominator. You know, I'm doing this video with mixed feelings right now. Watch this podcast. Watch this podcast often. It's called Tiger Belly, and it's the 111th episode. Um, the the lead guy on the show, he was on Mad TV. If you guys remember Mad TV, he was on there for about 6 years. Anyway, I found out about the show because of an interview with Jordan Peele, the creator of one of the creators of Key and Peele, and the creator of the producer of Get Out, the movie Get Out. So anyway, this guy's friends with him, the Asian guy on the left. His name is Bobby Lee. But anyway, something that happened in this episode that just really made me think about how tragic our situation is as African Americans when it comes to the way we speak. You know, I did videos on Ebonics. I've done some videos before, and you know, I've mentioned how Ebonics, the origin of Ebonics. Actually, let me get back to that. I'm gonna get back to the origin of Ebonics after. Let me just tell you what happened. So Bobby Lee was saying something, and he made a grammatical error. He said I didn't, and then he used he used a past tense verb. And you know, in English, when we use did or did not, we don't use a past tense verb after that. We use the present tense. So I didn't go. We didn't say I didn't went. But when he did that, when he made that mistake, something very interesting happened. So the guy on the right, I circled his face. He immediately switched into an Ebonics type of African American dialect while he was laughing, and then he mimicked what Bobby Lee said, but then he said it in, you know, in a joking way, and he said what he said, but he said it as if he were a black person. Now, I don't know about you, but it's funny. It was funny. I'll be honest. It was funny at the same time. But what it made me think about was Ebonics is the default when people want to make fun of poor grammar. The default is is Ebonics. All they got to do is say something jokingly in an Ebonics type of way, with copying the way a black person speaks. You know, your ghetto hood black person speaks, and that's how you make fun of Ebonics. I mean, what does that tell you? Doesn't that tell you that Ebonics is a joke? I mean, if think about this, somebody makes a grammatical error, and then another person is laughing at them for making that mistake, and then he copies that person. He says exactly what they say, but he says it like a hood black person would say it. A person with no education, a person who doesn't understand their grammar, correct grammar, or a person who just chooses to speak that way. He says it in a joking way, but he's mocking his friend for his poor English. Think about that. Just think about that for a second. What does that say about Ebonics? What does that say about us? Man, how pathetic, how sad. Let me ask this question. What is so wrong with just speaking correctly, man? Is there anything wrong with that? We can still use slang. We can still have our little black accents if we want. You know, have your little dialects, and have your the way you speak. What is so wrong with just speaking English? What is so wrong with black people dismissing Ebonics, because we all know, let me go back to this history. We know how Ebonics started. It started because we couldn't get equal educational opportunity. I mean, is that so hard to understand? Why are we holding on to this? We got to let it go, man. It's time to let it go. I don't like for my people to be the brunt of jokes like this. Now, this isn't racist because we do this for the public. We do this in movies. We do it everywhere. Interviews. People get up and they proudly speak incorrect English and they just love it. And then they call it black. They call it black. They call it Ebonics. Sad. Sad, sad, sad. Let me know your thoughts. Peace.